This video is going to be concerning blood sacrifice and how a person sells their soul concerning black magic. Now, this is not going to be a visual. This is strictly going to be a audio. Those that prescribe to black magic that are known as Freemasons are those that are in the ruling powers in the world today. The world leaders. Those that have been accredited to being known as reptilians and the international bankers, those that control the money, those that finance all of the wars, that have been financing all of the wars for thousands of years. These branches of groups and people have within their own organizations Freemasonic lodges. They are kept very secretive and kept away, hidden from the outside world, and that's for a reason. And that's because they're doing things that the average person won't understand, nor will they approve. Okay, so this is why they are so secretive, and this is why they are sworn in by a blood oath. And if one of them violates this oath, it could cost them their life or a family member's life. Now let me go into great detail concerning this blood sacrifice of selling one's soul, as well as making contracts with certain entities. Now, when we dwell into the science or the craft of magic, we are dealing with a faculty that is of a different dimension or different density. Real magic is really operated from the fourth dimension. So whenever the magician or sorcerer, a sorcerer will be one that doesn't incorporate universal laws. Therefore, he's involving chaos with what they're doing. So these are the black magicians. And they conjure up entities from the lower astral realms by way of making magic circles that represent the universe. And once the magician or sorcerer stands inside this magic circle, they have to know that they are God. Because if they don't know that they are the God of the universe in which they are accrediting themselves to present themselves to the deity that they are actually about to summon, then that deity will not respect them. And that deity may cause them severe harm or may just torment them. So you must know what you're doing before you conjure up an entity from whatever dimension it may be. Okay? Now the circle only represents the universe. It represents, once you stand inside the circle, it represents that you are the God of that universe, if it's done correctly. Let's get that straight. Now, when you draw the circle, you draw with your spiritual hand. You draw it using etheric energy or prana, so that it becomes spiritual when you draw it. Now, let's say if you was drawing, I'm going to teach y'all how to do this shit too, fuck it. You do it at your own cost though. But I'm going to take y'all into the inner sanctum of what they are doing. Okay, so you can know exactly what's going on. And at the end of this video, I'll tell you where I got this information from. So anybody can go research it themselves and find out what I'm telling you has already been laid out by ascended masters. Okay, but check it out, right? So once you draw the circle, you draw a triangle. The triangle is actually where you may summon the deity that you are trying to bring to this realm. Okay? The triangle must be connected with the circle. So, not the 2 point, but you know the triangle has 3 points, right? So, the 1 point that points up like a pyramid at the top must be pointed toward and connected to the edge of the circle. And the other 2 points on the outside, that will be the flat side that sits on the bottom of the ground like a pyramid, representing a triangle, must be facing the other way. So once you actually summon this deity, he lands inside a triangle and he's trapped. And you're inside the circle. So they may show certain movies, right, that show deities being trapped inside of a circle. They mix truth with falsehood. Truth of the matter is, the deities don't get trapped in the circle, but the circle is the universe and it represents the God, which is you inside the circle. These deities really get trapped inside the triangle. Okay? So once you summon these deities and you got them in the triangle, you can have this deity to do your bidding. But I will prescribe nobody to do this until they have personally developed clairvoyance. Until you develop clairvoyance, then will you be able to see this entity that you have summoned. Hear this entity because you have developed clairaudience. Okay? But let's just move on. Let's say you've already developed all that and everything, and you on your next stage of doing what I'm bringing forth. Same thing these motherfuckers doing in secret societies. Okay? This is what they doing. We talking black magic here, y'all. I'll touch on, at the end of the video, I'll touch on angelic deities, how to summon them and all that. But right now, we talking about black magic. That's if I don't forget, y'all. But we finna deal with this black magic. So what they do, right? These elites, so-called elites, motherfuckers ain't elite to me, but we don't, you know how modern day terms we use. After they summon these deities in a triangle and they got them, they make a pact with the deity. It's like making a pact with the devil, right? Because these are low-dimensional entities, because they have already made a sacrifice to this deity. And because they made a sacrifice to this deity, whether it been a child that they sacrificed, whether it been a member of the craft that was sacrificed, this, based off the laws of attraction, will attract a low-dimensional entity on the lower astral realms. And once this deity comes, this deity is looking for something in return. And most of these Freemasons have 1 or 2 personal daemons, or jinn, or genies, or demons. that grant them certain abilities. Some possess clairvoyance. Some of these Freemasons possess telepathy, because these demons or jinn or genies, like the genie in the lantern, because the genies ain't nothing but a demon, okay? Which have totally been perverted. But you have low dimensional jinn too that are not mankind friendly, okay? And they look to make men their slaves in the final analysis after they have served certain Freemasons. Now, hear me out. Once the genie or the jinn from these lower dimensional astral realms have come on the surface, and these Freemasons have made a pact with the devil or a low dimensional demonic entity, they are granted access with a certain jinn, and this jinn will look after them their entire lifetime. So this is why they will have the edge over other people. Some people will become, if they get into it with one of these Freemasons and don't know nothing about it, shit, they'll mess around and get psychic attack. Something that happened to them mysteriously. Don't nobody know what happened to them because the doctors can't figure it out. Because it's an esoteric or occultic thing that took place. It's metaphysical. So if you're not a master in metaphysics, you won't know what happened to this person. Okay? You have certain jinn that can make you have a heart attack. Okay? So through your etheric body at that, not just the physical, but through your etheric body, they can cause you to have a heart attack, and then it penetrates through the etheric to your physical. And now your ass wind up dead. So this is what you're messing with when you're messing with a real black sorcerer or black so-called magician. Okay, when you're dealing with black magic. But at the end of the course of that sorcerer's life, once he dies, he owes allegiance and he becomes a slave to that demon that he once was a master over. So while he's alive, the demon is actually his slave. And that's due to the pact that he's made with the king of the lower dimensional demons. There's a king that's over the lower dimensional demons, whether y'all know it or not. And this, because there's ranks when it comes to demons. Some demons possess other low dimensional daemons or jinn, and they can grant the favor of those jinn to other men. These is just the way that the family of the jinn or the demons operate. Okay? Now, a magician, a white magician, can control a reptilian. A white magician can control a low dimensional entity, a high dimension. It don't matter. That's the difference between a white magician and a black magician. They don't make pacts with low dimensional entities. They don't make pacts, period. A white magician won't. But a black magician will make a pact because he truly don't understand cosmic law. And he truly don't know that he's getting a favor, but in return, he's selling his soul. Because that same dimension that jinn lives in, his soul will be binded to once he passes over. Meaning, once his physical body dies, he will be trapped in that jinn's dimension, being his slave until the next cycle or the next zodiac sign has been entered. And this is the chance that black magicians take. And a lot of them don't even know what they really getting themselves into when they make these pacts. And when they sign these, once they summon these low dimensional demonic entities, let's get it straight now. All of these jinn are not evil. There are some jinn that are mankind friendly. You can learn that just by reading the Hermetica by Walter Scott. Another book of Thoth, that is, or Tahuti, or Enoch, or Ningazita. It went by many different names at many different times and different cultures that he presented himself to. Different races of people, or different, eras of time. Point is, all of these jinn are not evil. Some of them do not like mankind, because they feel like they were the original inhabitants of this planet before man was here. And you can learn that just by reading the Holy Quran, where this Allah told the jinn and the angels to submit, and the jinn said no, for you created me first, and you created me out of a hot intense fire. I'm better than he. See, the jinn was made before the mortal on earth, so the jinn feel like this is their actual home planet. Okay, they feel like this is their original place of inhabitant. And there are ways to reach the jinn state through meditation. And once you reach the jinn state, you are on a very high state of being. Okay, we were in our jinn state when we were in our heavenly body, the Adam Cadman, because we can call things into existence. The jinn actually live within us, y'all, so don't get it twisted now. See, a lot of people misunderstand the jinn. The jinn are a part of us. You see, in the Bible where it say, God said, let there be light. The creative force that said that, of the cosmic consciousness that said that, only said it. He just gave out the command. But it was the jinn that actually fulfilled the command of the Most High God. When you read in the Hermetica, it tells you that it is the jinn that cause things to actually take place. They are the ones that do the work. So when God said, let there be light, that was a jinn that did that, that caused that light to form up and shape. So when you research the word jinn, it means one that intervenes between gods and men. And it tells you in the Hermetica by Walter Scott that the jinn can cause things and bring them into being. So like when you understand Aladdin and the lantern or the genie, remember the genie said you got 3 wishes. Whatever it is, I'm all powerful. Remember? And if y'all seen the movie with Will Smith, the genie, which is a demon, told him, I'm all powerful. There's nothing I can't do. The jinn is a doer. The Most High is a commander in chief. He just commands it, and the jinn are his servant or his slaves, and they do it. So this is us. This is why we draw a magic circle to represent that we are the creator. Remember, we are actually the creator, just experiencing itself in different dimensions. Okay, we just broke off from the source, and the source is experiencing itself in different dimensions. This is why we have the authority to draw the magic circle and command other things to come, to command other entities from different dimensions to come, but they can't command us to come to their realm because they are not the God. We are, but we don't understand our true potential. Now, back to what I was saying. Y'all stay on track now. Follow me. Once you commanded this jinn to come beside the magic circle and actually manifest in the pyramid, the triangle, then you can write up an agreement. This is what the black magicians are doing. They get a piece of paper. They make a cutting on their body with a magic sword. This magic sword is presented after it has been enchanted, this magic sword is presented in front of this low dimensional entity, and it's a reminder to that entity that he can kill that entity at will and smite him. This is basically it's like a nigger checker. It keeps the low dimensional demon or Damien in check. So you'll notice that Freemasons they have a sword that represents power to smite the entity that they've conjured up. And the Jinn, once seeing this and realizing that this black magician is not to be played with, he will submit to him. Okay? And they will write up a contract in blood. And once he's wrote up this contract in blood to bind him with the Jinn, so that the Jinn will be a servant or a slave for him in this realm, there's a little backlash. Like I said, once he passes over, he becomes a slave to that Jinn in that Jinn's dimension. Okay? And then they burn. This is what they do. I'm telling y'all. They burn that contract up. And it's in the ethers. It is stored in that Akashic records that they have made a contract. Now, every year on June 23rd, the Freemasons put in their 99 lodges. They all come together. The main ones come together. And they, on June 23rd now, they put all of them, they write their name on a piece of paper and they put it in this turning wheel. And they spin it and they turn it and they turn it. And then they reach in and they grab a name. And whatever name is drawn, that's the one that must be sacrificed to the king of the lower dimensional demons or Damians or Jinn or Genie. He is to be sacrificed to that entity that they have made a pact with in order for them to have blessings from the lower dimensional Damians. Because each one of them have at least one or two Damians. Now the white magicians have 72 Damians. They have multiple Damians plus angelic beings too. That's the difference between the black magician and the white magician. The white magician has more entities protecting them than the black magician. But once they've chose this name, whoever name is drawn. Now if it be the like a supreme grand wizard of the lodge, he has the right to choose. He has the right to make them draw the name again. And if it be the will of the Lord Dimensional King over the Damians, then his name will be drawn again anyway, and his fate will be already sealed. But he has the right to draw again, the one that is like the head of the lodge. This is the way that the Freemasons operate. Okay? So what they do, once it finally settles down and the person's name is drawn, they go inside a private room. A lot of them are scared. They don't want to give up their life because they got so much going on. They have been granted favor. Like when you look at the back of the dollar and say he has favored our undertaking. In God we trust. It's really talking about this low dimensional deity that they've made a pact with. It's not talking about the God that y'all think that it's talking about. Remember, America was set up by Freemasons. The dollar that y'all see every day, that $1 bill, is Freemasonically encoded. He has favored our undertaking because they underhandedly took a country that wasn't theirs through black magic. They underhandedly took over a world that wasn't theirs through black magic. So he has favored our undertaking. Can y'all understand what I'm saying? So, and they even put the pyramid on the back of the dollar. Okay? They got on the back of the dollar is encoded. You got 13 stars. I think you got 13 little olive branches too. But anyway, there's significance in the word 13. I mean, in the number 13. Because there's 13 so-called royal bloodlines, which are actually extraterrestrial bloodline, which comes from the Draco constellation. That's the secret behind the number 13. This is why on the elevators, the number 13 is always missing. It's a reminder to the elites that we are the ones that are hidden. So they hide the number 13 on the elevators that represents that we are the ones that hide behind the chateaus. Okay? These extraterrestrials, better yet known as the Draconians, that are able to shapeshift and look humanoid. Okay? Even in Atlantis, according to the Emerald tablets of Thoth the Atlantean, some tablets that are 36,000 years old, it talks about these Draconians, how they could shapeshift through magic and change their form and look humanoid. But they are different dimensional beings. They come from a different dimension. The fourth dimension. The low fourth dimension. They come from chaos. They originated from chaos. But point is, y'all, there is a difference between black magic and white magic. And a lot of these Freemasons, after they have spent the will to seal the faith of the one that is to be chosen, when it comes to these black magicians, these Freemasons, they go in a private room by themselves and they drink poison and they kill themselves. Yes. And this is the chance and the sacrifice that they take for the price of wealth and the price of control and power over millions of lives that is supposed to be living their life based off past life karma, or a past life karmic debt. And see, they cut into the lives of millions of people through killing them through food, chemtrails, and all type of other bullshit that they've created in laboratories, cutting into a person's free will or a person's past life karma. This is sorcery because it's not based off cosmic law. Okay, you got to think about the people that died, innocent people that died during the explosion and certain wars. It wasn't even their time to leave this planet, but their life was cut short because of the Freemasons, because of the ones that financed the wars for a war to even take place. Wars could be stopped easily if nobody financed them. Won't be no such thing as a war. Because before a war starts, there's something behind it to start it, and that's financing from a bank. Anyway, once you are in harmony with cosmic law, you can control these deities. And a real magician, not a sorcerer or a black magician, not a sorcerer, let me say it again, not a sorcerer or a black magician, which is the same damn thing, but a real magician is able to summon any deity and control them at will. Because a real magician will never make a contract with no deity. Because to make a contract will always be a flip side to it. Because once that magician passes over, he will become a slave to that, whatever he made a contract with. This is just cosmic law. You get what you put out. So a real magician would never make a deal with an entity or allow an entity to have so much power and influence over them. A real magician would never submit and depend on a deity. They will never depend on the deity that they have conjured up. Only a black magician will. And if you want to know where I got this information from, go read Fabredo the Magician by Franz Bardon, a brother of the light who took over the body of a little Italian boy because the little boy's father was clairvoyant and he always wanted a spiritual guru. So the son made an agreement with an ascended master through transmigration that his body would be taken over so that the father would have a spiritual guru. So bottom line, the son became the father's teacher. And you can also get information concerning the magic circle and how to summon these deities and what's going on behind closed doors when it comes to these Freemasons. That information is written in the book Initiations. No, my bad. That information is written in Evocation of Practical Magic by Franz Bardon. So that y'all will know that I'm not just running off at the goddamn mouth making up shit. These ascended masters have the ability to see with their spiritual eye what is going on behind closed doors. And because they can see what's going on behind closed doors with these Freemasons, they become a threat to these Freemasons. This is why these Freemasons are always trying to attack people that develop abilities such as clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience. People such as Simeon Toko. This is why they tried to murder him, because he had the ability to see what they was doing behind closed doors and exposed them. Same as it was with Franz Bardon. He had that ability, so he became a threat to him. He became a threat to them, and they was always trying to kill him psychically. But he knew how to protect himself using certain entities, Damians, and angelic beings from different realms to protect him. So this is the importance if you are trying to really become a magician. Some of y'all talking, but you really ain't trying it, because if y'all really tried it, it'll scare the shit out you. Some of the things that you may conjure up and see, some of these deities that you may see, because they don't look like you, they don't act like you, they don't speak like you, they don't sound like you. It'll scare the shit out you. So a lot of y'all are so-called magicians, but you're really not real magicians. You're Christians at heart. You're scared of every goddamn thing. You have to have a very, very open mind to become a magician. You cannot be closed-minded at all. You cannot have an ego at all.